I'm Jesse with Living Tree Community Foods, and I'm here to share some thoughts with you about the swine flu and things that we can do about it. And there are some very simple and some very, very effective things that we can do to build our immunity. And the first thing I'd like to talk about is fasting. Fasting, we all agree, is the royal road to health. Nearly a century ago, Arnold Ehret, who was California's first raw food guru, wrote a classic book called Rational Fasting, and it's still on sale on Amazon.com today, and I couldn't recommend it more. It's a very, very centered and focused approach to fasting. Arnold Ehret was certainly an expert and leader at this. There are all sorts of cleanses one can buy, of cleansing drinks and so forth. You don't really need them. All you need for fasting is just a source of living water, and that's all. I fast for 36 hours every week beginning on Monday morning, and I usually break my fast in the Berkeley Farmers Market. And the thing to remember about fasting is not so much the fast itself as coming off the fast properly. The best is first on fruit, and following that on a living green drink or an energy soup, which brings us to the second great facet of our approach here at Living Tree Community, and that's green drinks. And I have a green drink every morning and every evening for 6 days a week. And here's how I go about doing it. I first start with living water, which I would put into a blender. And then I might follow that with some oranges, maybe a couple cloves of garlic. And that would be the living base for the green. This I would add some dandelion greens, and remember, dandelion greens or any wild plant, any edible wild plant, is far better for you than anything that one can grow. And there are so many wild plants, especially at this time of year. Parsley, lettuce, Swiss chard, purslane, malva, lamb's quarters are all out there, waiting for you to harvest them. Then we'll take some spinach, and we'll add some spinach. Put some spinach there. Some spinach. And then in addition to spinach, I'll add a leaf or two of kale. Kale is one of the most healing greens that there are. It's very high in calcium. We'll add that. We'll press the button. And finally, we'll do some parsley. Here at Living Tree Community, we don't think too much of the concept of superfoods, magical foods, miracle foods, and so forth. If you must have such a food, the true miracle foods, magical foods, and so forth are parsley, kale, Swiss chard, celery, and lettuce. Those are all that you really need. Funny, isn't it, how the remotest corners of the Amazon jungle and the foothills of the Himalayas have been ransacked for the fountain of life, for the miracle cure, for the probiotic, for the bioflavonoid, for the antioxidant that's going to bring back a lost youth or lost vigor. Well, the secret, all you need to have are kale, parsley, celery, and Swiss chard. So we've blended these up. We've blended a little bit. And now we have a luxuriantly rich green drink. And as I say, here at Living Tree Community, breakfast and dinner is based upon a living green drink. The third element of the pattern is vigorous exercise. And when we say vigorous exercise, we mean vigorous exercise. I engage in exercise for a half hour every morning for 6 days a week. And that's basically the pattern that I follow. And I cannot remember when I've had as much as a sniffle, or cold, a flu, a fever, or any such thing. So something to think about, especially when one reads all the hype on the news about pandemics, about avian flus and swine flus and this flu and that flu and so forth. There are so many simple things you can do to bring back your power. It resembles an old science fiction movie where the scientists are racing to discover another vaccine, to come up with another vaccine because of the aliens out there, or the alien virus out there that's threatening all of humankind. Altogether unnecessary. There is no need to rely upon an impossibly remote technology. We have the power right here. It's simply a question of mobilizing the inherent original energy within each one of us.